Normally my videos are me in my office with talking to a camera, right? I would be doing something like this. Yeah, that's my normal video. But we are in New Orleans for a shoot tomorrow, which thankfully we got in the day before. So we made sure that there were no weird flight delays, that all the baggage and luggage got here. So we have all of our gear and we're ready to go, and we were able to set up the night before. So why not take advantage of this cool setup? It's not going to look like this tomorrow because we're going to have daylight coming in and everything, but this looked cool enough that I thought it was worth doing some videos. So there'll be other videos coming out in this style. I don't know if maybe people like it, maybe they won't. They can always let me know with the thumbs up or thumbs down. They love to do that. But this setup is actually pretty simple. It's the setup we normally do for our lighting and camera work. We've got our two GH4s. I tend to like the main close-up interview shot, the one right off the interviewer, right? So that's like camera A, pretty close. And then the wider shot is just slightly off of that, right? So the camera B would be there and, much wider. In this case, it's actually a pretty big focal length jump from an 85 right there with a speed booster to a 35 with a speed booster for our camera B. Sometimes we'll do an 85 for camera A and a 50 for camera B, but for this it just kind of looked nice to have a little bit wider angle. And like I said, it's going to be all daylight tomorrow, so the lighting will change dramatically. We've got other lights over on this side that are going to help fill in the room tomorrow, but right now they're off because we don't want to overpower anything. So we do have ND filters on the lenses to make sure that we're able to kind of cut that light down a little bit and still keep a wider aperture. We've got our key light here, which I've explained this in other videos too, but I tend to like to have the key light, the main light, off the back side. I don't know if that's the proper way to say it, but I like to think of it as like the back side of talent, right? So the cameras are on this side, and this light is hitting this back side of my face, right, in the back side. And what I think that does is it adds a nice shadow towards the cameras, if you will, rather than it falling away. Because when you have it fall away, it can be too flat. So if the light was coming from the direction of the cameras over here, all the shadows would fall this direction, and you wouldn't really necessarily see that depth as much. And so I think it looks a little bit nicer when it comes to the other direction. So basically, it's really easy. Whatever side your cameras are on of the interviewer, you put your light on the other side. Now, because we got a light over here, we probably want a fill. So there's a bounce right here, a white bounce. It's a big one. It's the same size as this huge diffusion panel because I tend to like big, soft lights. So we've got our fluorescent 6-bank back there. Actually, that's not the 6-bank, that's the 4-bank, only running 2 bulbs right now. So that's shooting through a big, huge diffusion panel to help soften it. And then we've got a big white bounce here. We've got the boom mic overhead, obviously. Sometimes you'll see people have the microphone mounted like on the camera, like on top of the camera. Like how are you gonna hear me when you're way over there? You need to be like right here. Like this is the distance, right? So that is the distance from the microphone. I just even touched the microphone. I don't know if that ruined it, but we've got a warmer edge light back there to help kind of add to the atmosphere of like the warm light here and the practical light back there. That just helps it feel more cohesive. The other thing that's gonna be really nice tomorrow is this key light is the same side as the window. So it's motivated, right? It makes sense that the light is coming from this direction because that's where the window's at. And the setup itself is pretty straightforward. It's kind of just the way the room was laid out with a few small tweaks here and there. We kind of fluff the pillows, put these magazines here, put the coffee table back there, and move that chair closer so it all kind of fit in the frame of the wide shot. But that is pretty much it. Those lights that I mentioned before, the ones that are off right now, those are just pointed up right into the ceiling. The ceiling, thankfully, is white. So what we can do is we've got our key light here, our main motivated light source, but you want to bring that ambient light up, especially because we're going to be fighting the daylight tomorrow. So we've got the ND filters for that, but we need to bring the ambient light level in the room up. So we've just got 3 of those fluorescent light fixtures over there that are just going to be bouncing up, throwing light into the ceiling, and that's just soft. It falls down really nice. So it's a pretty standard setup for what we're used to. You know, a lot of content is interview driven. So this is kind of the setup we go for when we're doing interviews, but At the same time, every room, every space, every environment is slightly different. So there are some modifications and tweaks that need to be made to solve those problems. But at the same time, understanding that fundamental baseline and having a rough idea of what you're going to do going into space helps it just go a lot faster. And you know what's worked before will work again. And so then you can set up, plan for a certain way like we've done here. And then tomorrow when we see, okay, well, what's it actually going to look like when there's light coming in through this window? And what's it actually going to look like when it's not me in this chair, it's someone else? Then we can start solving those problems. But for right now, this looks pretty cool. I think so anyway. And so I just want to take advantage of it and do some videos.